Imagine a space where every word you speak and every action you take passes through a delicate mesh of another's mind. You begin to doubt yourself, your memory, even your own desires. What if that warm tone of voice and caring smile are actually a mask, hiding an intention to steer you where someone else wants you to go, not where you truly wish to be? In a world where manipulation becomes an art form, it's vital to learn how to recognize its signs and guard your freedom. Today, I'll reveal 7 indications that you're being manipulated, and share philosophical keys for resisting this pressure. We'll journey through the labyrinth of human relationships to uncover the tricks others use, and learn how to maintain autonomy and integrity. The first sign appears almost imperceptibly. You find yourself increasingly invited to spend time exclusively with one person or a narrow circle of people. Gradually, old friends fall away, their voices and habits become inconvenient for your new shared future. You're told, "We understand you best, you wouldn't get their lifestyle or values." Under the guise of caring for your well-being, you are cut off from outside support. Once enclosed in such a circle, you lose the ability to assess events clearly, because your sole source of information is controlled. Ancient philosophers warned that one who is deprived of alternative viewpoints is easily swayed. In a clear mind, a person draws strength from diverse opinions, but under isolation's pressure, they come to believe only in the single voice guiding them. In everyday life, this isolation shows up in domestic situations. A partner insists on just the two of us, spending all our time together as a team, while meetings with friends and family become sources of conflict. At first it seems romantic, a sign of unity, but over time you realize that beneath the care lies a desire to create a closed system, one without external perspectives or critique. The second sign is emotional roller coasters, when you're lifted to peaks of adulation and then dropped into chasms of blame and reproach. Today you're unique and irreplaceable, tomorrow you're selfish and ungrateful. This tactic breeds dependency. You'll do anything to regain the cloud of adoration. Here, an ancient principle resurfaces. Love is insured by guilt. When you receive constant praise and then abrupt criticism, your subconscious links worthiness to unconditional obedience. Stoic philosophers taught that true tranquility doesn't depend on external circumstances, but that requires not letting others' emotions govern your inner state. In the real world, you might see this in certain managers. First, they publicly praise you for outstanding results, boosting your self-esteem. But as soon as you question working conditions or pay, that praise vanishes into icy coldness and demands to double your effort. The third sign is continual distortion of reality, when they plant seeds of doubt in your mind about what actually happened. You remember something clearly, only to be told you misunderstood. Your memories are called into question. You're too emotional, you're exaggerating. Phenomenological philosophers taught that direct experience is the foundation of knowledge, yet under gaslighting, your experience is outright denied. Your inner voice warns you that you're an unreliable witness to your own life. As a result, you seek truth externally, in the version the manipulator offers, while ignoring your own grasp of reality. In life, you hear phrases like, "I never said that, you imagined it," or "That was your idea, remember?" You try to prove your memory, and they counter with a new version of events, ever farther from your recollection. In time, you stop defending your own perception and start relying on the correct version imposed by another. The fourth sign takes hold when every step you take becomes fodder for discussion and critique, beyond the standards you've set for yourself. You're drawn into endless debates over minutiae, how you place a cup on a table, why you tell the same story differently than yesterday. Such control of details transforms you into an extension of someone else's will rather than an independent person. Existentialist philosophers emphasize that we create ourselves through our choices and actions. Yet under constant scrutiny, you begin doubting every move, feeling accountable not to your own standards but to someone else's ideal of perfection. Consider a corporate example. A supervisor criticizes not only your professional decisions but also the tone of your emails and the layout of your reports, insisting that these little things set the company's overall tone. Gradually, you lose your spontaneity and hesitate to take risky, but potentially meaningful, actions for fear of attracting yet another remark. The fifth sign emerges when your boundaries begin to blur. You find it uncomfortable to refuse requests. They're presented as obligations, and your inner motivation becomes duty. Philosophers of moral autonomy taught that a genuine ethical act arises from inner conviction, not external coercion. When you act out of forced politeness, you cease to be master of your own principles and become a puppet of another's will. A close person might constantly take care of your plans, insisting you can't make the right decision on your own, manipulating your sense of responsibility to keep you compliant. As we prepare to explore the final two signs, reflect for a moment. How often have you felt your inner world narrowing into a corridor that leads only where someone else points? Next, I'll reveal those last two indicators and offer philosophical practices to help you reclaim the freedom to be yourself. The sixth sign emerges in the quiet insistence on telling you who you really are, as if your own self-image is faulty. You begin to hear subtle refrains. You're too sensitive, you don't see the bigger picture, you lack perspective. Bit by bit, your beliefs and values are reframed as shortcomings, as though your tastes and convictions need correction. Under the guise of guidance, you're invited to relinquish your views in favor of those considered more enlightened. Philosophers from the Enlightenment onwards have emphasized the importance of thinking for oneself. Immanuel Kant urged us to have the courage to use our own reason. Yet here, your reason is undermined by the steady drip of helpful redefinitions. When you internalize this narrative, you hand over the keys to your identity. In everyday life, this can look like a friend or colleague who constantly offers unsolicited advice on your character, nudging you toward their ideal and dismissing your self-knowledge as naive. The seventh sign is the final, most insidious, the quiet reweighting of your choices so that every path but theirs seems fraught with peril. You're shown courteous but selective information about opportunities, warnings about risks you should avoid, stories of failures from anyone who dared think differently. Meanwhile, the narrow trail they favor is painted as the only safe road. Philosophically, this echoes the notion of the false dichotomy, where only two options are presented and one is framed as disastrous. When your world is an engineered minefield, you begin to follow the shepherd's path out of fear, not desire. In real relationships, it may take the form of someone highlighting every reason you shouldn't pursue a personal project, skill, or journey, while enthusiastically supporting only the plans they've approved. Once you recognize these seven signs, narrowing social circles, emotional roller coasters, reality distortion, micromanaged actions, blurred boundaries, imposed identity, and orchestrated choices, you hold the key to regaining your freedom. The first step is simple but profound. Pause and name what you're experiencing. By labeling the pattern, you reclaim perspective. Then return to your own experiences and values as primary data, read journals, revisit conversations with trusted friends, and list the moments you felt most like yourself. Stoic exercises, like premeditatio malorum, prepare you for outside pressures by imagining challenges and affirming your stability in spite of them. Existential reflection reminds you that authenticity is forged through choice. Ask not what others wish you to do, but what you wish to choose. In practice, build small acts of autonomy. Carve out regular time for decisions that no one else influences, whether it's your morning ritual or the books you read. Cultivate friendships where mutual curiosity, not control, guides your interactions. And above all, remember Socrates' maxim, the unexamined life is not worth living. Examine every nudge, every compliment, every caution. Ask who benefits from the contours of your path. Through mindful self-examination, the subtle nets of manipulation become visible, and you can cut them loose with clarity and resolve. As you step back into your day-to-day life, carry these insights as a lantern. Each time you feel your boundaries press inward or your inner voice grow quiet, return to the seven signs and to your philosophical tools. In doing so, you transform from the manipulated to the mindful architect of your own destiny. Thank you for listening. If you found this exploration helpful, subscribe for more journeys into the art of living wisely.